Alright, in this tutorial we will be going over a custom validation of a text field. So I guess the only time you're really going to use this is if the types that were defined in the last tutorial are not exactly what you need. And with the custom validation you can really create any pattern that you want, and there's just a few simple rules that you have to follow. But other than that, it's pretty easy, and it won't take you long to figure out, I don't think. But here's how we do it. We go ahead and we click on custom inside of our type, and we go down here into pattern. And if you have some paper around, you might want to take notes on what I'm about to say, because there are a few different characters that you put into the pattern that will drastically change what can and cannot be inserted into the text field. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and put some zeros inside my pattern here, and these zeros mean a whole number, a number between 0 and 9. If you want to make sure that someone enters 5 digits, then you type 5 zeros in the pattern field, and I mean that's the same as a zip code, so you wouldn't really need to do that. But if that's just an example. So say that you have a number, or you have some kind of ID number that looks like this, and they're all whole numbers. So you have 5 numbers and then a hyphen and then 2 more numbers after that. So you can also say you want like a date and a time in the same text field, then you can enter something exactly like that, and you will be able to have the user input the time with actually that's more like a date, I'm sorry, a date and a time. So that's how you do numbers. So if you want to do any number between 0 and 9, all you have to do is a 0. And so to indicate a single uppercase alphabetic character, then you will type in a capital A. So for instance, you type in a capital A, a 0, and a capital A, then that will allow the person to put in any capital letter, a number, and then a capital letter. The capital A means that the letter has to be capital, though. If you want to do a lowercase letter, then you can say A, 0A, and then that would be the same as the last, except the letters would have to be lowercase. The pattern AAA would mean that you would have to put in lowercase letters for all 3 letters would have to be lowercase. So if it was AA, that would be acceptable, but this would not be acceptable. To accept either an uppercase or a lowercase letter, then you will use a capital B. So the pattern BBB, like capital B 3 times, will accept both lowercase letters and also uppercase letters. To include numbers along with uppercase letters, then you can use the X. Actually, it is a capital X. The letter X matches both numbers and lowercase alphabetical characters. You use capital Y for case insensitive match for numbers and letters. So if you use XXX just like that, then that will match B to B and BBB and also 1 2 3, but it will not match B to B. or BBB. So basically, just to recap that, to include numbers along with uppercase letters, use a capital X. The letter X matches both numbers and lowercase alphabetical characters. So also, if you need to use anything else, you can use a question mark as like a wild card. It stands for any character whatsoever, so you should use it when a character other than a letter or number, like a period, exclamation mark, a dollar symbol, is what you want. So I think for that is about it. Oh, I have one more thing. The enforcing pattern down here. You can make sure incorrect characters aren't even allowed into a form field by turning it on. So like, if you want to turn on the enforce pattern checkbox, when this option is selected, the form field blocks the input of invalid characters, so it won't even allow them like to be put in there. For example, suppose you added a sprite text field and then set its validation type to zip code using the US zip 5 format. The box can accept only digits, and only 5 digits at that. So if the enforce pattern option were turned on for this field, then a visitor could only type 5 numbers in the field, and that's all they could type. If a visitor clicks into the field and types a letter A, nothing happens because it only accepts numbers. So if you want to enforce the pattern strictly and not allow any characters whatsoever to be allowed inside of the text box, then you will use the enforce pattern. And that is it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we are going to be going over text area, and we will see the text area isn't as detailed as the text box or the text field validation was, but there's some cool things that we'll be able to do with that. So hopefully you're looking forward to moving on to the next tutorial, and I will see you then.